We're just concluding at the Bimini Ridge Memorial with all my friends here, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Haley, and Mr. and Mrs. Haley, Ruth, and Michelle, and Gail. And just like to ask you how you feel about the Trail of the Caribou and ending up here at Bimini Ridge for our Canadian contribution.
I am still in awe because you can read 1,000 books about what happened and why and the aftermath, but to be in the actual field where the battles occurred is it's really compelling, and I pay a large tribute to Father Nangle and the group after the war who erected all of the caribou in honor of our Newfoundland fighters. And to me, they're not just for the soldier, they are for the families and the communities these people came from. And last but not least, this is a tremendous tribute to both the living and the dead. Thanks, Derek, for having me.
Yeah, there's nothing you can plan in advance for what you're going to see when you get here. The magnitude of what remains for the battlefields to make it seem almost pastoral here now, the trees. But as you walk amongst them and you see the level of damage that must have been, it's hard to believe anybody survived, really. It's amazing that Nangle and others were able to recover and identify so many of the fallen and took so much care to make sure they were not forgotten. And it's well worth the trip.
I came here because my grandfather was here back in 1914. He got injured, and I just wanted to come back and see what it was all about. I'm after reading several books about it, but now I've come and I've seen how the area that the fighting is going on, and now I can really appreciate the books, and I'll probably have to go read them back over again.
And I came with Bob, of course, because it was his dream to see this, but I'm in awe, and it's very emotional and very reverent at the same time, and it's been a fabulous trip. And I've said this to everybody repeatedly, that it's so nice to travel with a small group because we've got to see everything and spend a lot of time, and really no push, but it's been great. And I have to say a big hats off to Derek for that.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm very, very pleased to have been a part of this excursion. Derek has been fabulous with us. Touching at many, many levels, certainly the scope, the depth, the breadth of the destruction and the loss that Canada experienced. But on a personal level, I think the most touching thing for me has been the recognition of Tommy Ricketts, the Newfoundland 17-year-old who won the Victoria Cross. And it's particularly touching for me because I grew up on Water Street West and remember pharmacist Ricketts going into his drugstore and buying yo-yos from him. And he was a very sweet man. Pass it on to Gail.
Thank you. You guys haven't left much for me to say other than how touched it has been, how moving it has been to see all of this, and to be able to visit where so many lives were lost, when we're celebrating what they were able to do to make sure that we could live our lives the way we do. And to me, that's very important. And it's also important to know that people still remember and are willing to come and see where these things happened, and to make sure that hopefully it never happens again.
Thank you very much, everybody. And to conclude, we go, lest we forget.